Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gobble with today's trading action. All right, now a bit of toing and froing in the US dollar. If you haven't had a look at the charts yet, the dollar fell very quickly last Friday after Jerome Powell sort of come out and suggested there may be trouble with the employment market, may have to cut rates. That's the way the market saw it. So dollar weakness, right? And then what we've seen, it was like massively overdone. We've seen a bit of a ricochet in the whole move, right? It's really caught the market out. And that's not going to do a lot for trader confidence just at the moment, right? Euros had a complete turnaround, as has sterling. Funnily enough, the Aussie and Kiwi haven't really gone anywhere, as has dollar CAD, right? The commodity currencies sort of hanging in there. Now, what's the problem here with this? Okay, so just having a look through one of the key sort of update articles here, it makes a bit of sense, right? Because the market is factoring in an 84% chance of a rate cut in September. But the key part to the whole situation is later this week we have the PCE price index, and then next week we have the non-farm payrolls, and then you got August CPI data, right? So there's a number of key things, right? Definitely the CPI, definitely the non-farm payrolls, because they've sort of mentioned employment numbers, right? So these numbers are due to come out before obviously the September rate cut. So there's a lot of uncertainty there, and I think that highlighted has actually turned traders around. They've gone from holding being dollar strong. Okay, the comments flush out. Then it's a bit of a recalibration and then looking at the economic numbers, the fundamentals, which will determine whether they cut rates or not. They are due to come out still. If there was no numbers coming out, well, we wouldn't have seen that big reaction. So right now, it's a little bit bumpy, right? And the markets have really stalled a bit. So just looking through today's sort of key macro events, Aussie monetary policy meeting minutes, always good to see what they're referring to. If there's any sort of signs of, holy cow, we may have to cut rates, that'll do something for it. We've got the BOJ core CPI, US durable goods, consumer confidence numbers, and then the Bank of Canada Governor Macklem speaking afterwards. So there's a few things coming out, and I'll be sort of focusing on those instruments associated with that. Now, just coming back into the live signals, I'm using a bit of trader discretion here, right? Looking at the Aussie, we've got a bullish signal and we've got a short-term and a long-term alert. Same with the Kiwi, right? These two work hand in hand. Now, what am I thinking here? Well, I'm just looking at these moves on the charts, right? And then I'm like, wow, this doesn't look great, right? The Aussie really muted the way, and the Kiwi for that matter, the pullbacks, right? There's sort of not much there. Just having a look at the charts here on the hourly on the Aussie, right? You can sort of see it's bang smack mid range. I mean, it is in the buy zone. Is it enough? Is there enough momentum in the market to get this thing moving, right? And you know what? It's already sort of turned up a bit on the dailies, but once again, it's hard to sort of really get into the trade, especially when euro and sterling, when there's still pressure on those two big pairs, right? The bottom four pairs here usually work in tandem. And the fact that Aussie and Kiwi are sort of just drifting sideways as opposed to coming off leaves a bit of uncertainty at the moment. So what I will be doing is really reassessing as we come into the European session and then sort of weighing up, the momentum, see what the data's doing, see what the general landscape of the market is, because right now there's confusion in the market, right? And you can tell by these massive sort of cleanouts. Euro shoots up, back down. Like that's just pain in the market, right? And we're seeing those decent moves because there's not a lot of liquidity, a lot of commitment to the actual trading opportunities that we're seeing, because it's, what we like to see, right? You see the US numbers, right? Or we see the comments by Powell, right? Weaker. We may have to cut rates because there could be unstable, I should say, employment numbers. And then what you want from there is weaker US numbers to really confirm that. And you know what? We haven't actually got that at all. And in actual fact, the market sort of just flipped on itself. So make sure you just keep an eye on the general momentum, see what's going on. Use a bit of discretion on the live signals just at the moment, because as I look at the market, it's a little bit tricky, right? So let's just wait. There's no harm in waiting. I know there's a few traders out there sort of really keen to sort of get things moving, but you can't make the markets move, right? At the moment, there is still downward pressure here on euro and sterling. Maybe it's a trade for sterling Aussie, right? Sell sterling, buy Aussie, sell sterling, buy Kiwi, because these two are sort of drifting sideways and they are out of whack. And we know there's a lot of positions that were long, right? Sterling Aussie. So maybe that's why it's sort of settled down. That's worth checking out as we go forward. So the major currency pairs, tricky, right? Because that's where the Fed has, well, that's where Jerome Powell and everything is sort of, the comments about interest rates, that's what it impacts, the US dollar pairs. So maybe start to have a look through as the live signals reload, have a look through the crosses, right? That's where probably we're going to find some nice easy cash sitting in the shadows, right? So that's what I would be looking at, because at the moment the majors, they are a little bit confusing. All right, guys, so take it easy. Let's see how that European session plays out, and see if we can't make odds and ends of a few of these cross currencies, because they will be looking pretty good. The live signal's just reloading there. All right, okay, guys. So interesting stuff on the dollar. Let's just wait and see how it plays out. Pretty fickle sentiment at the moment. Flicking from one side to the other. Keep an eye on your news pages, because there are some good detail there, right? Around what's moving what. All right, guys, have a good one today. And if you need any help or advice, don't forget, jump into the Discord there, and we'll make things work out. All right, have a good one. All the best. Cheerio.